Every time you try to speak perfect English, you speak less. And the less you speak, the more you start doubting yourself. And the more you doubt yourself, the more you study. And the more you study, the more you freeze when it's time to speak. Studying keeps you safe. More videos, more grammar, more rules, more vocabulary. It's like the safe space, like the safe bubble. Nobody is judging you. That's the loop you are most probably stuck in if you clicked on this video. And now let me tell you something very important. You are not bad at English. You are just scared of messing up. And it's totally normal and it's totally human, and I've been there too. In today's video, guys, I'll show you the exact system to improve your speaking in real life by speaking imperfectly and without feeling stupid. If you've been stuck in this painful loop for months or maybe even years, by the end of this video, you will feel relief. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching my channel, Wanna Speak by Veronique. My name is Veronica. I am from Poland. Apart from my native language, I also speak English and Spanish fluently. On this channel, we learn smarter, not harder. Let's normalize making mistakes. Think about going to the gym. When you are at the gym for the first time in your life, after the workout, you're gonna feel super sore. Your whole body is gonna be in pain. This is normal, right? We all know that. Imagine that today you're gonna take your first yoga class. It's gonna be terrible. Like, I remember that my first yoga class was really embarrassing. I didn't understand anything. And now I understand every single thing that is happening in a yoga class because I've been to thousands of yoga classes in my life. Or even something so basic like a baby learning to walk. A baby needs to fall down millions and millions of times before they start to walk for real. With language learning, it's exactly the same. And this is the moment when I want you to realize that there is nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean you are not talented. It doesn't mean you are bad at English. No, you just didn't put enough reps, enough repetitions. Don't get me wrong. Enough repetitions doesn't mean studying for hours and learning more words. Repetitions is real exposure. Meaning you go out there and you talk to real people, not AI. Because when you talk to AI, of course, you practice your skills, but you don't train your brain to feel relaxed when you speak English to people because you still feel safe. You know that there is nobody judging you. The real challenge starts when there is a real person in front of you. And I get it. It's extremely uncomfortable, embarrassing, especially if you have a story of being criticized, judged, or maybe bullied in your childhood. That's also my story. When I was in high school, I was really judged and bullied and criticized for my English by my classmates. And that was really, really harsh. That's why when I started recording YouTube videos, I was shaking like this. Honestly, I was so scared. But at the end of the day, I'm here. How did I do it? I was just exposing myself constantly. At some point when I started learning Spanish 4 or 5 years ago, something clicked in my head. Mistakes are my greatest teachers. So when I started learning Spanish and living Spanish and speaking to Spanish speakers, I was terrified, obviously, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let them correct me. And this is the best thing I could have done. In around 7 months, I started speaking Spanish at an intermediate level. I understood that mistakes don't mean I'm failing. My mistakes mean that I'm improving. And again, don't get me wrong, mistakes are your teachers if you learn from them. Because obviously our goal is not to make mistakes and never correct ourselves, right? Our goal is to learn by exposure, by talking to real people, and to learn from these mistakes. In just a second, I'm gonna give you my strategy, but before that, you need to have a really huge shift of your identity. If my approach resonates with you, from now on, your goal is not the perfect, correct English. Your goal is clear English. There is a huge difference between correct and perfect and clear. Let me break it down. Perfect, correct English is this performance. What are they gonna think about me? Am I gonna sound stupid? This is exhausting in the long run. But clear English is communication, human interaction, understanding another person. So now it's time for my strategy. It has 4 steps and it's very simple. It's very simple on purpose. The first step is safe practice at home. This is how you're gonna prepare your system to expose yourself to real people, real conversations. You don't wanna go from zero to real life conversations or business meetings or traveling, because then it's gonna be like too much. So we need slow, gradual exposure. This is what you're gonna do at home. I recorded this video on practicing real life speaking at home if you wanna check it out after watching this video. But now I want you to find just 5 minutes a day here in the comfort of your own bedroom, and you're gonna pick one situation that's useful in your life. For example, in a coffee shop, at the gym, talking with your neighbor, or maybe a business meeting, whatever situation you actually need to speak English in. And then you're gonna say 3 sentences out loud that could be useful in that situation. If you freeze totally, you don't know what you actually have to say or how to say it, here you can use the help of AI, Google, you're gonna find your way. But the most important thing here is to produce speech out loud. For example, after recording this video, I'm gonna go to the gym and I need to register myself at a new gym because I'm in Brazil right now, guys. I'm in the city called Curitiba. I have no idea how to speak Portuguese. Spanish is saving my ass, to be honest. Anyway, I'm gonna use English, obviously, right? But they don't really understand English, but I'm gonna try. So I go to the gym and I prepare 3 phrases in my head. Hi, I'm new here. I would like to know your payment options. I would like to check this gym out and maybe sign up. Can you tell me where the locker is? And if you feel pressure here, don't judge yourself. Totally normal. So what can help you is grabbing your cell phone and setting a timer for 30 seconds or 1 minute, and you can pretend that you are talking to someone in that specific situation by doing this simple thing. I'm training my mouth and my nervous system and preparing them to go out there and speak to real people. I'm not really training grammar. I'm not saying grammar is not important. It is, but it's not enough to communicate. And the ultimate goal of the language is communication, right? So we can understand each other. Okay. The second step is learning 4 or 5 phrases to keep you going. So it's totally normal that when we talk to real people, especially native speakers, we forget some words, we don't know how to say something, we can get stuck. Oh my God, countless times I got stuck when I was talking to a native speaker. Even if my English was fluent already, I got nervous and suddenly I was like, I don't know any English. For example, a couple of months ago, I had a business meeting with a native speaker. He was in San Francisco, but he was from Australia. I got so nervous because his accent was so perfect. It happens to everyone. That's why I have my phrase bank that I can use in these uncomfortable situations. So my first phrase is, sorry, can you give me a second? What do you call it? Let me think for a second. What I mean is, can you say that again a bit slower, please? The majority of native speakers are gonna help you and they're gonna understand you, especially if they are learning their second language. Of course, there are some people that are gonna judge you or criticize you, but we can't do anything about that. There are people and people, different people, right? In these situations, obviously, I feel terrible, as everyone would feel, but I use self-improvement techniques and methods to help me feel better. So let me know in the comments if you want me to talk about the self-improvement techniques that help me deal with the criticism. Anyways, by having these phrases in your pocket, in your vocabulary bank, as I call it, you don't have to panic because you are always prepared for every situation. The third step in my strategy is to stop performing and start connecting with people, start communicating. When it clicked finally in my head after many years of performance, I just relaxed. Guys, I just relaxed so much because I was like, okay, I'm just a human being. I don't have to be perfect. I'm not a native English speaker, and that's fine. Like, I'm a Polish girl speaking 3 languages fluently, daily. That's amazing. I'm using these languages to help me improve my life, to help me travel. I can do all these things. I started viewing languages as this huge door of opportunities, of like chances that life gives me, right? So it's a completely different approach. And when I started recording videos on this channel, I really felt this need to perform. But that was so stupid, to be honest. That was so BS. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna own it. Like, I'm gonna own that I'm a Polish girl. I was born and raised in Poland, had really difficult childhood, and I learned these 2 foreign languages. You see the shift of the mindset? So if you still feel that you perform in English, no worries, there is absolutely no judgment here. I think it happens to almost everyone, to almost every non-native English speaker, because we feel this tremendous pressure of being perfect and of sounding like an American. You don't have to sound like an American to be able to connect with people in English, to be able to communicate, to be able to get a job, to make money, to travel. Our goal is to sound clear. Our goal is to learn the correct pronunciation. Our goal is to be understood and understand. That's it. Finally, the 4th step in my strategy is when you mess it up, acknowledge it, and then learn from this mistake. This step is extremely important. As I mentioned previously, we can't make mistakes forever, right? We make a mistake in order to learn from it. For a mistake to be your teacher, you need to treat it as one. For example, my boyfriend is a Spanish native speaker, and now I talk to him in Spanish every single day. And sometimes he still corrects me. If you want to say in advance in Spanish, you're gonna say con antelación. But I was constantly saying con antelación. Con adelantación, something like this. And he corrected me 4 or 5 times, and finally I got it. So I was paying attention to a mistake that I've been making, and I was constantly trying to be aware of this mistake and say it correctly. When I stopped performing and I started connecting with people in English and in Spanish, my life leveled up so much. My relationships, both personal and business relationships, improved a lot because I let myself be myself. I let myself go with the flow and drop this perfectionism, which was literally destroying my self-confidence. So I keep my fingers crossed for you. Let me know in the comments what you think. See you next week in my next video.